Alright, fellas. What we got here is my Mosin Nagant 9130 built up with a Archangel manufacturing stock, the ATI bent bolt, which you can find just about anywhere, Amazon.com, etc., etc. We've got a lower end, because there's several of them, BSA stealth tactical scope. It's a pretty cool scope. I'll get to that a little bit later. It's got its pros and its cons. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, so we got Mosin lovers, we got Mosin haters. Overall, good rifle. I started with a good solid rifle. I got it from Dunham's. I can't recall what I paid for it now. I think it was about 150 bucks. It wasn't much, but it was beautiful. The furniture was gorgeous. It's almost a shame to put it in this thing. They get really good rifles. I'm from Michigan. I don't know where you guys are from. I don't know if you have Dunham's. I'm not even quite sure if Dunham's is a nationwide chain. But if they are, or if you got something similar to you, definitely check into that, because kind of get what you pay for with them. I imagine that rifle probably would have shot pretty flawlessly just as it was. Now, I saw these online, and I'm sure many of you did, and saw all these cool doodads and whatnots, and you know, I looked up some reviews and whatnot, but I couldn't really find anything just completely unbiased, being like, hey, this is what's really going on with this thing. So, starting with the Archangel stock, the son of a bitch is heavy. It's probably lighter than some other stuff. I didn't weigh it in comparison to the wood furniture when I pulled it off, but this thing is not light. I mean, it's a big piece of polymer fiberglass embedded resin, something like that. It's got your metal pillar beds in there, which I believe are aluminum. I don't even think they're steel. It's got all these gears and slides in there. And another thing I was not very happy about it. I don't know if you can hear this, but this back piece is, I don't know, just kind of clunky. It wiggles. It knocks around when you have it in your shoulder. But whether these go for like about 150 bucks or less or something like that, I mean, you get what you pay for, I suppose. I mean, it's a damn good looking stock. It feels good in your hand. They drop right in. I mean, the install is fantastically easy. But like I said, you get what you pay for. I mean, there's other stuff out on the market there if you're going, trying to make some really precision shooting Mosin. The only other thing, the forend here, when I got mine, it's set up right now in a free floating configuration. They have a barrel tensioner that can go inside of here that you can tighten up, and it'll put tension on the barrel if your particular gun shoots better that way. I mean, that's kind of one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. Excuse my French. But ideally, a high-powered, correctly manufactured rifle with a free floated barrel, properly bedded, should function flawlessly that way. I mean, of course, until it gets retardedly hot and starts going all over the place. Well, I mean, the first thing I ran into as soon as I dropped it in there, took it out shooting the first time, was that this stock, after cooling, probably from its thermal injection, had bent slightly to one side, and I had to go and sort of remove some material from one side just to, slide that dollar bill in there, guys. Just make sure everything's not binding up on you. Other than that, the stock's good. I guess that's where I'm gonna end with the stock. The only other thing I can think about with the stocks is the magazines. Magazines, I got the 5 round. You can get a 10. People have problems with the 10. They've improved that since, because they were having the same issue with the cooling. There's videos online from Archangel Manufacturing talking about it. When they put them on the racks to cool, the sides were pressing in, and you would get binding of the slide inside the magazine. So, I've got no problems with mine. Hopefully, you've got no problems with yours. Um, if you're ordering now, since I've made this video, you shouldn't have any issues, period. Okay, moving on. ATI. This thing was a son of a bitch to install. Uh, you gotta cut your original bolt off and basically grind the surface down. You leave a nub in there. You again go back and you drill, tap, and there's the nubs in here. There's a recessed area for it inside of there. It's quite a process. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, if you're familiar with gunsmithing, you probably know more than I do, but it was, not the worst thing in the world, but a bit of an ordeal. I sweated over it a little bit, mostly just stressing that I was gonna screw something up. But if you've got any common sense at all and you're a handy sort of guy, I would not be afraid to do this. And not to mention, these bolt carriers are a dime dozen and they are cheap and they fit. You can pretty much get one for your gun, no problem. Whether you got the 9130 or whether you got that the M38. I might be saying that wrong, with the bayonet conversion one. There's tons of them out there. Now the scope mount. This is also ATI. Now another thing I ran into that was screwy with ATI, and I actually found this from another video. I can't remember who the gentlemen are now. I wish I could give them a shout out, but they are the guys that have that pawn shop, and they're always shooting guns and making cool stuff. When you drill and tap this barrel for this, the ATI instructions specifically say not to go through the barrel, not to go all the way through. That's incorrect. You have to go all the way through. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to run a tap through, period. That is it. End of story. You can troll away all you want, but I've fired this gun flawlessly, no problems. Nothing's going to blow off it. Nothing's going to blow up on you. You're not into the chamber. You are just right here in the receiver still. That's how that goes. So if you're confused like I was, you're reading your instructions, you don't want to screw up your nice gun, that's it. That's what it was right there. I mean, stupid shit. Now, BSA. This is my first scope from you guys. And I gotta say, the first thing I was disappointed about was these turrets. They are lockable, they're cool, they're funky. It looks, real aggressive, but they do not reset to 0, no matter what you do, okay? They are a locking style turret where you pop them up and then you can spin them, but they do not, adjust and return to 0. They have these neat spinning lens caps, which is pretty cool, but just adds a lot of bulk and weight to it. I kind of think that's probably what sold me, to be honest with you, which is horrible. The scope is nice. It looks good. It's only a 9x magnification, and unfortunately, the mil dots in it are so large that when zoomed completely out at a target, at least the paper targets I was using, I could not see center. So this is what I put together, and this is my non-biased, no BS review of these products here in front of you. I hope this has helped you. Overall, I think I've got a couple $100 into this gun. Nothing crazy. I didn't spend a fortune. I didn't break the bank, and it's a cool gun. A few little kinks to probably work out here and there. So if you're thinking of making one yourself, go right ahead. But just so you know, like I said, before you buy, these are heavy. You can probably find a lighter option out there. Spend a few more bucks, get something that's maybe got a little bit better quality control. I don't think they're horrible. There's other bolt options out there. You can pay quite a few guys on eBay to actually weld on a bent bolt. Might be a good option if you're patient and you can wait for it. And definitely, if you're trying to make a long-range shooter, don't screw up like I did. Make sure you buy a scope that you can re-zero your turrets. I mean, maybe you don't care. Maybe that's not a big deal. Maybe you're going to write everything down on paper. But for me, I suck. I am just trying to, have it as easy as possible. zeroed in at 100 yards, reset it, and that way I can adjust my minutes of angle, on the fly, and kind of just reset everything back to zero. And with this guy, you are not going to be able to do that. But other than that, like I said, for a couple $100, damn fun rifle to shoot, cheap to shoot. If you've got the common sense, the skills, the tools laying around, and the time, you can make a hell of a gun out of this stuff, So, again, good luck to you, and happy hunting.